Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to talk about Splitgate Arena Warfare, the new game that is very similar to Halo with portal mechanics. And it sounds pretty cool, and it is pretty fun for a few hours. And the gameplay that you guys are seeing is still currently in the early mode, so there are of course things subject to change. But anyways, here's my thoughts on this game, because I used to play Halo for many hours back when Halo was the FPS game that everyone wanted to be. Now, the thing that makes this different from Halo is that it has this portal mechanic. So you can basically open up portals, and while you have your portal opened up, you can actually see through your portal of where it actually goes, and you can shoot people. However, the enemy portals, you cannot actually see through them, so basically you'll know exactly when it is an enemy portal. You can still go through an enemy's portal, but you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know where it leads to because there's kind of like a little haze over it. But overall, the gameplay feels so similar to Halo. I mean, it has pretty much every single weapon that's in Halo, and it feels so much like Halo. Now, it is an arena-style game, so the skill cap, it just feels like it's a lot more different compared to other games, because that's just how arena-style games are. But anyways, a lot of people asked for my thoughts on the game, and I think the game is definitely fun, and as of right now, you can just go download it on Steam and just try it out yourself, so I can definitely recommend at least trying it. It is definitely a fun game to mess around with your friends for a little bit, but I feel like a lot of the casual players will be super uninterested in this game when they just get dumpstered on over and over. But one huge thing that they really need to change in this game is that there is no BR start. For an arena-style shooter that's really catering towards a competitive game, we are playing in the ranked mode right here. I ended up queuing with a few people, and we just started dumpstering on people. It was solo queuing before, and it was a terrible experience just because it's a new game, and if you run into a stack of several enemies that are just coordinated and they're actually communicating, then you're just going to have a bad time. I mean, look at the score over here. Once we got our group, the game was a lot more fun, and it definitely felt like competitive Halo, because I used to play in the MLG setting in Halo all the time. I even competed at MLGs for specifically Halo 3, and it feels so similar to Halo. There is this domination mode, which is why I want to showcase off this gameplay here, which is kind of a different mode. Halo hasn't had a domination. It had King of the Hill. There's apparently also an oddball mode, similar to how Halo had oddball. However, it wasn't enabled for the weekend that I was playing. But overall, the game, it definitely, again, feels so much like Halo, but at the end of the day, with no BR, when you start off with an AR, it's just frustrating. If anyone has played competitive Halo, like, imagine just playing Halo 3, but it's AR start, but you're playing in the ranked section. Like, it's really dumb. And in addition to that, the ranked section also has, you'll see in the bottom left, there is a mini-map that is just like the mini-map from Halo in a sense. I would say it's not exactly the same. It does indicate if they are above and below you, which I think is an excellent thing. But there's so many times that when you spawn in and you don't have a BR, it just feels frustrating. I feel like that's the biggest change. Like, hands down, that's an easy change to the game. The gameplay does feel like pretty much a AAA game. It's so close to being right there. But I feel like they do need to do some things, specifically the BR start. And also, I don't really like the domination mode that much, because you're able to rotate with the portals. It kind of destroys the core concept of, I would say, the competitive mode for Halo, which would normally be King of the Hill. You can see I'm searching for a ranked game once again. You do have some customization options, but they're all cosmetic. I don't think the game is going to be pay to win at all. But there are options to change your character's looks. It's, again, not that big of a deal. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward. This is actually taken from my Twitch VOD, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward it over here. But you'll see that there are a lot of players that are much better at the game, and they can really utilize those portals better than other people. But that separates, like, the casual player. Like, if you just want to jump in, have some fun with your friends, if you're not really good at, like, Halo, you're going to have a bad time. But then on top of that, you add in the new mechanic of the portal, and you make the skill gap even higher for those players that are just interested in just jumping in and having a little bit of fun. At the moment, there is no vehicles in the game, but I didn't really care for vehicles anyways. I was strictly only an MLG player. When it came to playing Halo, all I wanted to do was play competitive. I didn't care for, like, the other modes, except for Big Team Battle. Big Team Battle was pretty fun, but I think this is a nice game to play while we're waiting for the next Halo game. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on the game. I think it's great, but it's only fun up until a certain time. That's the biggest concern that I had, because I was playing with some friends and we're just like, whatever, it's okay, it has a lot of potential, but again, I don't think the casual market, if the game's free to play, by all means, it will still probably survive. I'm not saying this game is going to die instantly, but it doesn't have the potential to become the next biggest game, at least as of right now, because of the skill gap. I mean, if you want to see a really good game that's an arena-style shooter, Quake Champions is free right now. That's a fantastic game, and there are players that are still playing that game. But the thing is that because the skill gap is just too high for certain players, and also, again, the BR start thing, it just drives me crazy that they built this game that feels so much like Halo, and they've added this ranked mode, but they don't have BR starts. Like, look at this, you guys using it. 1-800-GET-OUT-BR. Like, it reminded me, again, just of Halo. So much. Now, as far as the smoothness of the gameplay, again, it feels just like a AAA game. It's so close from being there. There's sometimes a few glitches and sometimes the audio will bug out, but it's not anything I'm going to complain about because I think they'll fix that. It's mostly that, like, the new mechanic. You can see I went through a enemy's portal right there, and he just had no idea I was behind him. And that's going to cause frustration for people that don't know the maps, they don't know how to get from certain areas to other areas. There's certain areas that you have to portal, basically, to get to. But that's cool, and again, that's going to separate the players that are newer to the game from the players that have been playing the game for a long time. And again, because it's new right now, there's a lot of newer players, so if you want to play the game right now I would say is definitely the time before everyone gets super, super good and you just get absolutely destroyed to the point where you're like, dude, I don't even want to play this game anymore. And I totally understand that. That's how it can feel for some games that have been around for a long time. But if you're good at Halo, this is an excellent game. But again, there is that new level of mechanic. There is an overshield, but there's like straight up, like the sniper is super easy to get no-scopes with. But I think if I wanted to play Halo, I would just play Halo 2. I just love Halo 2 more than really anything. But again, this game, all it suffers from really, as far as complaints, because I'm not going to complain about like the game having like a skill gap that makes it too difficult. It's just that won't have the most players simply because it's just too difficult to play. But again, if they want that arena-style shooter, you have to put the BR start. You have to remove the mini-map, especially since you have ranked TDM, which just causes people to camp a lot. If any of you guys remember back in Call of Duty when they had competitive TDM, I mean, there's just people that play so slow, and I think the objective is definitely the way to go. If any of you guys remember, like Team Hardcore from Halo 2, or I even like Team Skirmish a lot, but I like the objective game modes much more than the other mode, especially since it will force people to kind of play campy, especially with the portal mechanic. You can basically look at your flanks. Look at that, out BRing two people at once. Like, it feels so much like Halo, and I loved Halo back in the day, and it kind of almost shows, though, that how Halo just didn't hold on because it didn't, like, evolve and add, like, a new mechanic. Like I said, this game does have those newer mechanics that will keep someone interested in, but I think it will only interest people for so long before they just move on to the next game. But again, it's not a terrible game by any means. Try it out; it's really good. There's the SMG too. That's I don't think we've shown off. Let's get some gameplay of the SMG here. But the SMG is actually pretty strong. There are a few other guns. There's no, I would say, like alien weapons. There is like this plasma gun. There is like the rail gun. I mean, like the guns are just straight up from Halo. Like there's no denying it at all. But again, the portal mechanic, it's cool, but it leads to very frustrating deaths. But anyways, I hope this game does well in the future. We'll probably cover the game in the future, so if you guys are interested in that, hit the subscribe button, and I'll give you guys some updates on this game, because I do want to follow this game, and I want to see where it goes. Oh, another thing, okay, this is also another thing, I think that it could be implemented in. There's a lot of jumps in this game where you won't be able to make the jump because you can't mantle. That's something that Halo eventually added because it helps some of the, like, I would say, not as, like, familiar players with certain jumps. If you remember Halo 2 and Halo 3, there was an insane amount of these like jumps that you could do. But the thing is if you're mantling, you're already at a disadvantage anyways because you have to do that mantle animation. Let the like players that aren't as good, I would say, be able to get to certain areas, but there's a downside because you have to mantle it. Whereas good players, they still are able to do these crazy jumps, like from like Guardian. There's so many like cool jumps, again, in Halo, and you can see I'm just blind firing and shooting through that. Oh, another thing that you can do in this game, I probably should mention this, you can see right next to our ammo, there is this little thing. It'll usually it'll start out as 2, and when you kill enemies, you'll get it again. That's the grenade. The grenade does not do any damage. That's another thing that is huge with Halo is the grenade mechanic. The grenades in this game just close the portals. So you can kind of use that to your advantage. But I think grenades are so important to Halo because they flush opponents out of certain areas that are advantageous. And this game just doesn't offer that with the grenades, but it does offer it kind of with the portals instead, which again is an interesting mechanic. You can see over here, I'm just looking at my sides over here. Any moment I can just check my flanks, which is again catering towards more of a power position play where, again, you can't really get naded out. So hopefully they'll add nades in the future. There's also a rocket launcher. Again, like, it's literally everything in Halo, minus, I think, the overshield and cloak as of right now. But anyways, yeah, that is Splitgate. But if you've tried the game, let me know how you feel about it. Are you guys interested in seeing more of this on the channel? Because like I said, I do plan to cover this game, but probably not until they've added some more features with the game. But definitely try it out. If you guys want to try it out, there'll be a link in the description box. It's not sponsored. It's just, it's free download on Steam, and like, I can't pass that up. But hopefully, in the future, this game will be quite popular. But I think that the style of arena shooters have just, it's pretty much done. Like Quake Arena, that game is so fantastic for arena shooter. But again, the skill gap is too high for those newer players to hop in and have some fun. And I think that that is the biggest reason why arena shooters just aren't as popular as they once were. It's just that games have gotten a lot more casual, and a lot of people aren't willing to put in the time to get good in those games. Anyways, that's Splitgate Arena. Let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And like I said, if you want to follow me for this game, I will be updating you guys when there is an update for this game that really changes up some of the stuff. But please, Splitgate, add the battle rifle as start for Rig. That's the most frustrating thing. And remove the minimap. Like, you can have your quick play, whatever, have the radar. You can have AR start, but like AR start is like the skill gap difference between a BR start and an AR start. It's just so huge. Like, they really need to do that. But again, this is just beta. Hopefully it'll be there in the future. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. I'm signing out.